That's good, Christina. As you go deeper into the woods, the deeper you go into yourself.
Christina, there was nothing you could do.
What has scared you recently?
I saw a ghost.
Do you believe in ghosts?
I never used to. But now I'm not sure.
It's all right not to be sure. They are, after all, just a figment of our imaginations. Representations of our anxieties and guilt. Our minds see what they want us to see. Do you believe in the afterlife?
I didn't. But now I'm not sure.
Do you believe in carrying on when everything else looks hopeless?
Yes.
Tell me about your relationship with your parents.
Viele Auswahlmöglichkeiten.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to get that. It's a prearranged call from one of my clients. Please, wait here. I shouldn't be long. Prochaine fois, quand vous viendrez, voilà, nous allons vraiment travailler là-dessus. Ça ira beaucoup mieux et vous verrez. Non, 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 surtout ne faites pas ça. Ce sont que des failles. Non. Voilà. Et la dernière fois que vous êtes venu, vous avez bien vu, il faut rester calme. Et vous verrez, la prochaine fois, nous en reparlerons. Voilà. Et vous verrez, ça sera beaucoup mieux pour vous. Hein. Ah non, surtout pas, ne faites pas ça. Voilà. Et je vous verrai, oui. Peut-être plus tard, après, oui. Patience. Il faut beaucoup de patience.
Was ist das denn? Ein Tittenklecks?
Christina, over here. Come on, over here.
Wie groß ist denn die Hütte?
Over here, Christina.
I'm sorry, I was just trying to find a bathroom.
Of course. I should have shown you where it was. What was I thinking?
Thank you. Thank you for your help.
Not at all. You're an interesting girl, Christina. I hope you find the answers you're looking for. Do speak to Reverend Peter at the church. I'm sure he can help you with this.
Ah ja. Steckte Kamera?
I understand that, of course. But can you explain to me why you think a dead person is talking to you?
It doesn't talk to me. She puts thoughts in my mind.
How is this affecting you?
I feel her here every day, especially at night. As though I'm always being watched. What she used to say was comforting. But now it's things that frighten me.
I'm concerned that this imaginary friend is affecting your emotions so much.
Imaginary. She is as real as you are.
Please, keep talking to me, Emily. It's important you explain this.
I can't.
Why not?
Because she's right there. Standing behind you.
Hm.
Hello and welcome.
Reverend Peter.
Peter,
Guten Tag.
please. It's Christina, isn't it? How can I be of help?
There are a few things I wanted to ask you.
Well, after a bereavement, people often want answers.
It's about Emily. She was troubled by a lot of things.
Yes, I knew she was troubled. I tried to help her where I could, but she didn't regularly come to this church. And people who aren't religious often feel uncomfortable asking advice from a man of the cloth.
Emily talked about seeing ghosts here in the village. And it's something that I've experienced as well.
It's very common after a death like this to have such experiences, even for those that don't believe in the paranormal.
I thought that too, but this is something different.
Maybe it has something to do with the story of Agnes.
Agnes.
It's a local legend. It dates back to the 18th century. She was a maid who worked in the Lord's estate. Her parents brought her over from Sweden when they came to work here. The story goes that she had an affair with the Lord. When she fell pregnant, he He was horrified that she wanted to legitimize the relationship. It was all very different back then, of course.
So what did she do?
Well, when she refused to back down, he threw her out. It was very cruel. Her parents weren't around for her, and as a single pregnant woman back then, your choices were very limited. Out of options and without any hope, she threw herself into the lake on the Lord's estate, drowned herself and the unborn child.
And that's where the ghost stories come from.
Thanks, Anne. Bye. Not exactly. It's said that she cursed the area with her death, and that her spirit returns to taunt young women into taking their own lives. It's all nonsense, of course.
But there are more suicides here than normal.
Some areas are more prone to this than others. The sad fact is, suicide hotspots occur more often than you'd think. And having a local legend like this only adds to the problem and plays into people's neuroses. Doesn't help that Alexander keeps talking about it. He's the Lord's descendant.
He lives here in the village.
Yes. The estate's had the same family and for hundreds of years. I wouldn't recommend talking to him about this.
Oh, doch.
It's not the kind of thing you want to hear when you've just lost a friend in the way that you have. Can be a little bit grumpy too.
Doch, da will ich doch mal nachhaken, nicht?
Hello, Alexander?
Yes, what do you want?
I believe I met a colleague of yours today, Dominique. She mentioned to me that you worked at the clinic. I was hoping I could ask you some questions.
Very well. Come in.
Thank you. This is my friend Emily.
Gott, was für eine Uhr.
She passed away recently.
Yes. I was at the clinic when your friend was there, but purely in an advisory capacity. I couldn't comment on her treatment.
Advisory at the clinic?
Yes, I retired as a surgeon many years ago, but I would be called back to advise the psychiatric team from time to time.
Why did the clinic close?
No. Series of patient disappearances. Suicides. Over the years, it led to its closure.
I spoke to the vicar, and he told me the story of Agnes.
That man's a fool. He believes in God, but doubts the existence of evil. Ridiculous.
So you believe there's some truth in this curse?
Oh, yes. This house has been under dark clouds for hundreds of years. Ever since my ancestor foolishly impregnated that stupid maid.
Have you seen her?
Of course. She haunted this house for years, burning the life out of anybody who lived under its roof. Yeah, the good Reverend hasn't told you the full story, has he? My ancestor was an arrogant man. He was also stupid. A man in his position should never have gone near one of his domestic staff. I mean, A maid, for goodness sake. I suppose her being Swedish must have added an air of exoticism. Of course, the inevitable happened. Usually these things are handled discreetly, but for some reason she thought he would acknowledge her as the father of her child. A preposterous idea back then. She had to leave, of course.
How can you do this to me? How can you do this to me? I am your child. Okej! Jag går! Men jag hatar dig för att du gör det här mot mig! Förbanna dig och ditt hus!
The other staff turned their backs on her. Nobody in the village would help. Quite alone, with no family to turn to, she was left with almost no choice. They say that a soul that dies in a state of rage leaves a curse. Well, Agnes cursed us all that day.
So people believe these deaths were because of her.
Records in this house were very carefully kept. Particularly so on an estate so heavily reliant on agriculture. The phases of the moon were noted. Agnes's death was remarked on at the time because of the blood moon.